What is the future of medical research? Where are we going to be in 100 years?
The next 100 years are going to be about how can we make matter think, how can we make matter feel, and how can we make matter be creative?
That people are frightened of the future. And I don't think we need to be frightened of the future, we need to embrace it in the present. And from the scientific point of view, it's quite clear there's been a complete revolution in what we can see inside the cell. And with that knowledge, we'll be able to develop much, much more sophisticated targeted therapies for a whole range of diseases.
It's looking feasible that we may be able to create artificial egg and sperm cells. It would mean that people who can't produce eggs or sperm themselves could possibly have a baby. So one thing we might look at in the future is whether that burden of pregnancy can be removed from the human body entirely.
Do you think that it's feasible in 100 years to wipe out cancer?
But I think then we will discover new diseases. We may have new things that we have to face and challenge.
It seems to me very unlikely that we're going to really be able to eradicate disease and death. I see it much more as an ongoing battle where we might win some ground and then face another difficulty on another front.
Do you think that the rate of progress is going to continue exponentially?
Well, I think it's very dependent on the integrity of the economies within the world.
So we can't really separate the research from the politics, from the economics?
We have to create a world in which it's going to be possible to reap the benefits of these.
So I think at this point it'd be good to wrap up with one final question for all three of you, which is, as we go into the next century of research, what one lesson from the past century would you like to make sure that is remembered as we go forward?
We tend to think of science as being objective and sort of value-free, but of course it isn't. It's very difficult to see the values that that influence and control science at the time at which we're living. And I think it's really important to be aware of our own prejudices and blindnesses. We can't necessarily know what they are at the moment, but we can be sure they're there because we're human beings.
There was a cholera epidemic happening in London, and this was the first epidemiological study where they were able to trace the source of the cholera to a pump and turn it off, and that was the end of the epidemic. And so the lesson from this is keep your eyes open. Don't kind of go down some line like this, or totally. You have to be looking out at the edges, because clearly there is a lateral solution frequently to a problem and to a public health problem.
And a low-tech solution.
That was a low-tech
They
solution.
just took the handle off the pump.
But that was science. Okay? That was science. So science doesn't have to be high-tech.
I think the most important lesson we should learn is that diversity is not disease. And I leave it